JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 27th of February 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, view the charts, the usual stuff. We'll have a quick look at a few interesting setups, of course, as well. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, before we jump in, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So yeah, guys, feel free to visit us here, and I believe you can find a lot of useful information. Now then, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. Now, I talked about this one this morning, and what I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this area of support now near the yesterday's low, which was roughly around the 12,368 territory. So as you can see, we are breaking this one now to the downside. This is what I was talking about this morning. So what I was saying, that if we get a nice good drop below this, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, yep, and then yep, we could start aiming for our other potential areas of support, one of which is around the 12,200 territory, and which is the high of the 10th of October, and slightly below that we do have the 12,165 zone as well, which is the high of the 8th of October of 2019, of course. So for now, yes, it continues to drift lower. Let's see if it can continue doing that. Even if it, let's say, if it closes the day somewhere around here, let's keep an eye on the cash index, because if the U.S. equities will continue to slide, they might bring the cash index here to the downside here, and we may be testing this little territory here on the cash index. So something to keep an eye on after the German market close here. But for now, yes, as I said, we are leaning more towards the downside for obvious reasons. We are confirming a new lower low, so let's see if this can continue push lower. In terms of the upside, previously this morning I was talking about this little area here, this key area of support, which previously acted as a good area of support. Now it could play the role of resistance. So in order for us to get excited about slightly higher levels, we would like to see a push above this territory, of course. But the only thing is that given that we already have distanced ourselves quite a lot from this territory, so in a way we will start considering the upside if we get a push above the 12,605 zone here, which is basically the high of today. If we do get a push above this, then there could be a possibility to see a bit of correction, a larger correction to the upside here, where we could test this area around the 12,900 zone. So again, for now, the high of today was roughly near the 12,605 zone. A nice good push above it and could in a way lead towards a larger correction. For now, we're trading below the yesterday's low, so yep, let's keep an eye on slightly lower levels. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, now yesterday it closed the closed the day above this upside support line. So I was talking about this one yesterday, but what I was saying, that if this upside line fails to do so, then, well, I mean, we could see further declines, but we got a nice close above this. And looking at the cash index right now, we can actually see that the price is already below this 26,735 zone that I've mentioned yesterday as well. So basically the price is currently balancing around the 26,500 220 territory. So basically not far from these levels that we saw here in the beginning of October. Now again, all this is of course is not looking good here for this index. The next potential target for us to consider, of course, is this one here, the lowest point of October near the 25,743 zone. So slightly before that, we do have the 26,158.59 zone, which is the low of the 8th of October. So basically, guys, keep your eyes on that one. In a way, we see this one drifting further south. We could see a test of this 26,159 zone. If it provides a bit of support, we could see maybe a bit of a rebound here and maybe a correction back to the upside. But again, for now, it seems like it's one-way traffic, guys. Be very careful with those buys here. So we need a decent a reversal signal before kind of trying to maybe capture a bit of a swing back to the upside. For now, it's leaning more towards the downside, so yep, brace yourselves. We could see even more declines. DXY, another index, but this one is a dollar index, and I talked about this one this morning, and what I was saying that in a way we're going to be targeting will be this 98.71 territory, which we managed to test and overcome today, and the other target for us was the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So this we had a fantastic test of that one. So you can see that this line, this 200 EMA continues to hold the price from moving lower. But to be honest, if we get a nice drop below this, then yep, it could lead all the way here. It could lead the price all the way towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 31st of December, and this is where the downside might get limited to, because if this upside line holds, we could see a nice rebound and a push back to the upside. In terms of the upside, in case this decides not to travel towards this upside line and decides not to break below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, if it decides to break this downside line taken from the high of the 20th of February 1st, then yep, this could be a totally different game here, and we could start considering higher levels again, maybe going back towards the 99.66 zone, or even going back all the way towards the current highest point of this year near the 99.91 zone. Of course, slightly above that sits the long-awaited 100 level. So of course, but we have moved away from that right now. So yep, for now, all eyes are on the downside, and let's keep an eye on this 200 EMA as well, because if it breaks below this and we see the 4-hour candle closing below this, then yep, this could lead towards a test of this this upside support line taken from the low of the 31st of December. Gold now. Gold did drift below this area I talked about, and when I talked about gold this week, basically I was mentioning this area here, which previously acted as a good support area. Now it is playing the role of resistance, this area between the 1649 and 1652. You can see that the commodity drifted lower, tested an area here near the 1624, and reversed back to the upside. So now it's back above its 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. It's now testing this this key zone between the 1649 and 1652. So the big question here is, can this actually push further north? The only thing for us for now, to be honest, we will be very careful, because ideally we would like to see a push. We would like to see a push above the recent highs here near the 1689 zone in order to kind of aim for higher levels, because here, let's say, we could see a push higher, but if it gets a hold up somewhere around here and then reverses to the downside, makes a failure swing here, then failure swing high, and then drifts back to the downside, then, well, I mean, this could lead towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 12th of December. So something to keep an eye on, guys. Again, for now, be very careful with that upside. Yes, it might travel a little bit higher, but if it gets a hold up somewhere around here, then we could see another round of selling here. For those who are more on the cautious side, you could keep an eye on the recent low here, this week's low near the 1624, 1624 and a half maybe, and if we do get a break below this, then yep, we will aim for this key area near the 1612 or even this upside support line. For now, that's the game plan, guys, but with the upside, for us to get comfortable with higher levels, we need to see a push above the 1689 level first. This way the commodity would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, more buyers could be joining in. USDCAD. Now, I've talked about this one this morning, and basically what I was saying, that if it continues to trade above this 1.3307 zone, then we could see another round of buying, which could potentially lead towards a break of this 1.3348 zone. This is what I was mentioning to those, for those who are more on the cautious side, because if this level breaks, then yes, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, more buyers could be joining in. So we managed to break above this, then yep, that's wonderful. And the next target for us is this 1.338283 zone, which I've also mentioned this morning, and that's basically the highest point of September 2019. So good potential target, good potential area for resistance. As you can see, the highest point of October played out nicely as well. So this level right here, the around the 1.3348. So now it could become an area of support, potential support, of course. But again, guys, for now it's leaning more towards the upside. Let's see if it can reach the highest point of September 2019, which is near the 1.338283 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the downside, if this suddenly drops back below the below all of these levels here and drops below the 1.3307, this would probably also place the rate below the 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. And as I've mentioned this morning, as you can see, we did get those breaks here below this 21 EMA, but ideally we would like to see a close at least of a 4-hour candle below the 21 EMA, and then yep, we could target this upside support line taken from the low of the 7th of January. So something to keep an eye on. Now then, USDJPY, slightly different picture here, the opposite way. So the markets are selling off, and the Japanese yen is kind of taking its safe haven status seriously. And yep, this is the picture we're seeing here on USDJPY, where the pair is now breaking below this, or should I say actually not breaking, but still balancing near this upside support line, slightly on the flat side, but this is still nevertheless an upside support line taken from the low of the 7th of February. And as you can see, the pair drifted lower, tested this this line and kind of rebounded a little bit. So the only thing is that still everything's kind of looking more negative than positive, but it will keep an eye on this upside line. If it holds, then we may see a bit of maybe a rebound here, but to be honest, for us to get excited about higher levels again, we would like to see a push back above the 110.70 zone, and only then aim for the upside. Until then, all this kind of territory would be somewhat of a neutral one for us, but if this upside line breaks, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting, and we'll then start targeting some of these support levels, and this key area of support between the 109.50 and the 109.63 could be the one to watch, because if this gets broken, then well, I mean, further declines are possible towards the area around here near the lowest point of February, around the 108.26 zone. So again, guys, we're keeping an eye on this little territory here between the 109.50 and the 109.63. If this fails to withhold, then yep, its break would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and well, more sellers could be joining in here. For now, all eyes are on this little short-term upside line. Let's see if it can hold. But again, as I said, with the upside, we need to see a push above the 110.70 level first before considering slightly higher levels. GBPAUD, very quick update on this. I mean, I've talked about this one today and this morning and yesterday as well. So you can see that this steep upside line has got broken, and we've also traveled below this 1.9654 zone that I've talked about this morning. So what I was saying, that if we get a drop below this, then yep, it could open the path towards the this upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of January. Now you can see that the pair is drifting lower. Of course, this increases the chances of a test of this this upside line taken from the low of the 14th of January, but be very careful around here near this 1.9516 territory, which, as you can see, acted as a very good area of support. So in a way, this is going to be our first target. We might get a test of it, we might get a hold up around here somewhere, but if it fails, then yep, we could see a test of this upside support line, this one taken from the low of the 14th of January. In terms of the upside, now here, to be honest, we would stick to the same idea, and just to be on a safe side and just to be more comfortable, we would like to see a nice good break and maybe a close at least of a 4-hour candle above this 1.97 97.54 zone, and then yep, this move would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could be joining in here. So, but again, for now, everything's kind of leaning more towards the downside. Keep your eyes on the 1.9516 zone. Euro dollar finally. So this is what I talked about this morning. Basically, of course, we didn't get the correction. We got an explosion straight away, and yep, not only that it overcame the some of these levels that I was talking about, but it kind of overcame the 200 EMA as well, and now it kind of continues to push further north. All eyes are on this downside line taken from the high of the 31st of December, and of course some of you might be drawing it this way instead of like connecting this little high here of the 16th of January. You might be connecting this point here, the high of the 31st of January, and in that case, yes, we are currently testing this downside line, but to be honest, let's keep an eye on this one here for now, because that's still kind of the last resort here for the bears to step in, and if this downside line holds, then we could see a reversal, maybe back to the downside. But for now, all eyes are on this, because again, we did have a nice decent up move here, but let's not forget that we're still below this downside line taken from the high of the 31st of December, and if it holds, we could see a retracement here back to the downside towards this short-term upside support line taken from the low the 21st of February. And if we do see something like this, then yep, we'll take it from there, reevaluate everything again. But keep your eyes on this, of course, on this downside line taken from the high of the 31st of December. If it breaks, well, I mean, this is where it could become very interesting for the buyers. We'll keep an eye on this little high of the 6th of February. That's roughly around the 1.1014-15 zone. If we get a push above that, then yep, we'll start aiming for higher levels, guys. For now, be very careful near this downside line. Let's see how this is going to play out, but if it holds, we could see a bit of a correction here to the downside, and this could kind of also come in line with the fact that we have had already quite a decent steep uprise already in a very short-term period, so maybe a bit of correction could be possible. But yep, as I said, all eyes are on this downside line. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.